Hello love, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lovette, and if this is your first time in this channel, please don't make it your last. Hit on the subscribe button and be part of this family. In today's video, we'll be making this cute bobo dress, and if that is something that interests you, please stick on and let's get started. So I fold the fabric into four. Yeah, that's for the front and the back. It's folded into four places, for the front and for the back. The next thing is to mark your shoulder line. Your starting point, that's your shoulder line. Then you come down to mark your half length. My half length here is 17, and that's your waistline. Next is to mark your hip line. That's 9 inches. Guys, I'm sorry that is not showing very well. So the next thing is to get your full length. For one, my full length here is 60. Then you get your full length. You plus your 1 inch allowance for folding. So I'll be having 61. I'm just marking the full length. I'll be having 61. Your full length plus 1 inch for folding. So you take your shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 16 divided by 2. That's 8 inch. You really do not need this 8 inch, but I'll tell you why we need to mark it. Is to get the sleeve length, so you know the number of the sleeve. So from that 8 you can get the actual sleeve length. So my sleeve is 10. Then at the top you mark 4 inch. That's the one you need. Then you come down at your sleeve length and mark 1 inch downward, and you slant it from that 4 inch, not the 8 inch, from the 4 inch. Next you measure your sleeve. My sleeve is 9 inch, so you measure the round sleeve. So you measure your bust plus 2 inch allowance. That getting your bust is under your sleeve, so that's where your bust will be. Then you measure the round waist, divide by 4 plus 2 inch allowance, and your hip divide by 4. Sorry, camera did not get to that part. I'm just connecting them. You come in from that sleeve length inward by 2 inch. Then you connect it to your bust, your round waist, and your hip. Then at the down part too, you divide your hip by 4, your hip measurement by 4. Then you mark the same thing. Divide your hip measurement by 4. You can add to make it very free if you want it to free, but this one I'm just using my hip measurement for the down part because it will have a slit at the down. So you just connect the whole lines together. So you cut it out. So you remove one from it. Remove the front. So this one now is just one. and this is the front. We are using this part as the front. I'm making use of 6" for the depth of the neck. Making use of 6" and is a V neck, so I'll connect it to that 4" that we marked earlier, the shoulder. Now cut out. Yeah, this is how it looks like. This is the front part, and this is the back part. So just mark the 4" that's our shoulder, neck. So you come down is to be a high neck, so we are just marking 2" and you connect them together. Just curve them and you cut out. And this is the back view. This is the back view. This is the front, that's the back. So guys, I'll be putting this lace mouth on the center to beautify it. But before then, let's cut the lining for the front and the back part. I just folded material into 2, then you place the front. And at that shoulder, you just get like, let me say 3" from the shoulder. Then just trace out. At the down, you might come down by maybe 3" or 2.5. Then just trace it out. Trace the neck out. Then you open it up. Then from the 3" connect it to the 2.5 you marked at the down. Then curve and cut it out. So this is how it will look like. You sew in, then you turn it inside. And you do the same thing at the back. I've cut out the back part. You sew it. I'm going ahead to sew it. This is the front part. Just sew it, turn it inside, top stitch, and sew the end of the flap. Then you give it a good press. And this is the back part as well. Top stitch. So now it's time to place our lace mount. You just mark the center, then you pin it. Place it at the center, then you pin it to the end. Please make sure it's sitting at the center. Next thing to do is to sew it on top. Sew at the 2 sides, then you sew at the center. I'm going to sew it right now. I'm done sewing it, so I'll join my shoulder. So to join this shoulder, you use the front, place it on the back, then you fold it. You bring the back lining to the front part. I don't know if you understand, but just look at what I'm doing. I'll do it at the other side, so maybe you see it clearly. Put your front at the back, then use the back lining, turn it, bring it to the front, turn it, then you pin. Yes. Then you sew it by 1/2 inch. So I've gone ahead to sew it. Look what it looks like. You see that it's very neat. You see? So, and I went ahead to fold my sleeve by 1 inch inward. And I'll be applying that same design at the sleeve. So I'm just placing it at the sleeve. I'm pinning it down. Now do the same thing at the other side. I'm going ahead to sew it at the two sides. So the next thing is to shape. At this point, if you have your hemming gum, you can just apply your hemming gum to avoid it from popping out. But me, I don't have, so I'll be tacking it. So this is the shaping part. Measure your round sleeve measurements. Then come here. That's 2 inch you gave as allowance. Just remove it. Mark those 2 inch out. Mark the 2 inch out from the waist. Mark it from the hip. Just mark it all the way down. Then at the down part, I want you to have a slit for easy movement. So I'll be measuring 14 inches. So it will have just a little slit, 14 inches. So I'm going to sew and mark my 2 inch. Just connect it to the top. Do the same thing for the other side. Measure your round sleeve, measure the 2 inch out. Guys, I've gone ahead to sew it. So you just cut out the excess allowance. I'm going to trim the excess allowance. So that is all for this video. Trim out the allowance, then you fold it down, and so that's all for this gown. And guys, this is the final look of this bubu gown. So beautiful, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please do well to subscribe to my channel. Please support this channel so I can grow. Thank you so much, guys. See you in my next one.